You are listening to Season 2 of The Diary of a Wannabe Writer, the short and often daily podcast in which I chronicle my life and attempt to be a writer by writing daily. Sometimes. Hello, today is Monday the 28th of July 2025 and you are listening to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer. And yay, I did nothing yesterday, instead I blathered on about Star Trek. So sorry about that. I could talk a lot more about it, but literally I basically listed the series. I didn't realise there were so many. I mean, it's absolutely crazy that there are that many. So there's 9 live action TV series now, 3 cartoon series and 13 movies. Oh, it's ridiculous. But anyway, I'm not going to talk about that today. Today I did some work, and actually this is weird because normally if I've done some writing I will then do the podcast as part of my live stream, and I literally forgot to do it just as I was playing the closing credits for the live stream. I thought, should have done the podcast, and I considered cutting back in and doing it. Then I thought, I'll just do it immediately now, straight afterwards. And what have I achieved today? So, did nothing yesterday, as you know, Star Trek. But today I have signed off the prologue and chapter 1 of Self-Portrait. Now, I kind of need to get into the habit of not saying what happens in them, because some people will be hopefully reading this down the line. It'll be a little while off yet. So I'm going to talk instead about kind of what I'm planning to do over the next little while. So I want to get quicker at writing books, because I've only finished 2 projects in nearly 7 years, and although I should, by the time I reach that 7th anniversary, nearly have completed a third, and I'd like to be able to try and write a book a year, unless it's the length of Empress of the Trees. I mean, Empress was the length of 2 and a bit of my normal books, but anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to set myself a word count target for each month. So in August, so this month I haven't done this. In fact, I've been very woolly with my targets this month. Basically, I targeted myself with signing off Empress Draft 2, which I've done, starting Self-Portrait with that, which I've done, sending off the English Hikikomori to people, which I've done, and prepare my submission package for Still Life, which I've kind of stalled on a little bit, so I need to try and maybe do that in the next couple of days. Next month the target is going to be a lot more precise, so I'm going to set myself a word count target for Self-Portrait, and it will be, I don't know, I haven't decided exactly what it's going to be yet, but basically I want to try and write the first draft in a certain number of months. Now, Self-Portrait is effectively it's the middle book of a trilogy, and if Still Life was a standalone story, Still Life is a standalone story, Self-Portrait and the final book, which is going to be called Blank Canvas, are very much linked. Self-Portrait will tell its own story completely, but it will end on a cliffhanger. Well, not a cliffhanger, but a big reveal, basically. In fact, there'll be pretty much cliffhangers going on for all of the main characters. So, yeah, it's going to be... So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the first draft of this book, and I'd like to try and do it in 6 months, if possible. And then I'm going to go straight into the first draft of Blank Canvas, the third book, and try and get that done in 6 months as well. So basically what I want to have done by this time next year, the beginning of August next year, is having written the first draft of those 2 books. Now that's probably way unlikely, and we'll just see what level of work I get done, but that's kind of my idea, because I want to churn out a book a year. Obviously that's actually not going to be a book finished because I've only done the first draft, so my plan is then to give myself a year to get the second drafts of both of those books done and maybe even start working on the third draft. So hopefully by the end of year 2, I will have a finished readable version, well, not finished, but a readable version of Self-Portrait and be getting there with the final book. But we shall see. So I've written the prologue and chapter 1. They come in about 8,000 words. What I would really like to do by the end of this month, if possible, bearing in mind that it's only 4 days after today, no, not even that, 29, 30, 3 days after today. And also I go back to work on the 1st of August. God, that's going to be weird. But yeah, 28th, 29th, 30th, yeah, 3 days after today. So what I'd quite like to try and do is get chapter 2 written and signed off by the end of this month, but that night might not be especially realistic. Chapter 2 is going to be around Molly, one of the main characters from Self-Portrait, the girl who was born in she wasn't born, but she lived in 1915 and suddenly found herself in 2018, as I mentioned in the chapter I've just written. But yes, we get to find out what's happening to Molly, which means we shall see a few characters. We shall definitely see Molly and Isabel, possibly Jagvir. We shall see. I don't know exactly, but I know roughly what's going to happen in this chapter. And it's not the recovering from a suicide attempt, as I've said, because Molly is too upbeat and lovely for that to be something she would do. Anyway, that's my 6 minutes done. By the way, when I say 6 minutes, it's 6 minutes of talking. So with the credits on the beginning and the end, it sometimes will just about hit 7 minutes. But anyway, I'll shut up and I will talk to you again tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye. You have been listening to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer. For more information about what I'm writing, go to linktr.ee/Richard Writes, capital R, capital W, where you can find details of my website and social media. I may see you there.